Hello guys, Col Ninny here. In order to concentrate on flying, you need to have your joystick and controls set up so that you don't have to look for the buttons that you need when you need them. I've had several questions about my control setup to play the game, and I'd like to share that with you today. There are two basic sets of controls, one for views and one for the aircraft controls. Views can be internal, external, or a gun sight. My system is archaic, 2009 vintage. I have no rudder pedals and no track IR. I simply use the Logitech Wingman 3D to fly the airplane, and I use my wire mouse for all the views looking around the cockpit. Let's take a look at the views first. I find the top hat very jerky as it goes from one view to the other, so I never use it. But I constantly use the zoom in and zoom out features. And I only use the external view and the internal view, which are basically F1 and F2. And I do use the home button to give me the cockpit wide view, extended view I call it. Here's the standard 109 cockpit default. Then by pressing the home key, we'll get a more extended view. But for some reason, once we get airborne and select gear up, the view changes by itself. Select the home key or zoom out, and that'll get you back to this view, which is great for looking around. I prefer to be able to use the first person and third person. It gives me a much better sense of where I am. But that's not always possible on the more expert servers. The joystick's X and Y axes give us pitch and roll, so it's nose up, nose down, rolling left, rolling right. The Z-axis is the one that controls the rudder, and it is extremely sensitive. To me, the next most important one is the trim control, the elevator trim, trimming the nose down or trimming the nose up. Learning how to use your trim is so important, I've devoted an entire tutorial to it. In the same way that it did it on the takeoff when we selected gear up, selecting gear down will also bring the view towards you. Selecting gear down with the external view has no effect on the view itself. For total yaw control, notice where my hands are. The key mapping is logical. It goes brakes, then flaps up and down, and tail wheel lock and gear up and down. This setup allows me to concentrate on the takeoff and landing without worrying about where the buttons are. I control the brakes with my forefinger and middle finger and the power with my thumb. This gives me perfect control when I'm taxiing, landing, or taking off. If you've followed my other tutorials, you'll see that I do a lot of decision making about how much fuel to take and how long it'll take me to fly to and from the target. And a critical tool for me is my sweep hand clock, which I have right underneath my monitor. Generally speaking, I'll only zoom in so far as to be able to get my target within my field of view. I'll zoom out if I lose sight of him, or even go to third person, external view. Key mapping and key bindings are pretty much stock except for the things that I've shown you. So I hope you've learned something and had some fun. Let me know how it goes. Thanks. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please like it or subscribe. Or if there's another topic you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment.